Right now at noon, details on a deadly train accident in Missouri.
We've got an opportunity for a few isolated showers and storms heading into the late afternoon and evening hours. We'll talk about our rain chances today, tomorrow, and the heat on the way coming up.
Plus, plans for redistricting in Missouri continue, how this could impact local voters.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
This is KOAM News at noon. I'm Elise Snowy. A man was killed over the weekend after being struck by an oncoming train. Missouri authorities received an alert of a train striking and killing a pedestrian yesterday morning. The rail crossing has no lights, bells, or alarms. Anderson police are investigating the death of the adult male. Let's head over now to Chris.
Yeah, we've got an opportunity for some isolated to scattered storms here in the next few hours across the area. Look from earlier this morning, downtown Pittsburgh. Again, we had some clear skies, but those clouds gradually increasing across the area. Started yesterday, not quite to record levels, but take a look at that. Low 50s, and we only made it up to 80, so not too far from average, but still below normal. Again, not that anybody's necessarily complaining. All right, average high again is 85, and we've been below that. However, as we head into the second half of this week, our temperatures are going to begin to climb across the area. As we go through our evening, isolated to widely scattered thunderstorms will be possible. No severe weather is expected at this point. Be about the mid-70s by 7 o'clock. Temperatures gradually dropping to the mid-60s by 11 o'clock this evening. These showers and storms, though, could stick around with us in an isolated nature from tonight into tomorrow afternoon. We'll talk about that and those 90-degree temperatures that may be on the way here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. I'll see you soon. And don't forget, you can always be the first to know about the day's weather with the KOAM Skywatch weather app. You can get severe weather updates sent straight to your phone, free of charge, available in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. All you have to do is search for the KOAM Skywatch weather app. Planes and cars hit the tarmac at the Old Joplin Airport Terminal for a Wings and Wheels show over the weekend. More than 150 cars competed for first place in 16 different categories. A fly-in was also held. Funds from the event are split between VFW Post 5293, the Freedom of Flight Museum, and our Veterans First.
That veterans are here and they are in need of resources. Many of them are just lonely. There's so many ways that people could help if they wanted to. They can donate, they can join one of our groups and help us in our mission.
Well, a new redistricting proposal is moving through the Missouri State House. This comes as lawmakers meet in a special session. KOAM's Blake Gully breaks down what the change could mean.
The Missouri State House is moving a new bill brought by Representative Dirk Deaton to make changes to the districting map. The process of redrawing the map is typically done every 10 years after the U.S. Census is complete, but Deaton believes more changes are needed.
Our state laws and constitution has to be done at least every 10 years after the census, and your districts have to be equal population. That's one of the few requirements that you have, but there is no requirement that it be done only every 10 years. And we've seen this in other states and even in past decades, even in Missouri, mid-decade redistricting attempted for one reason or another.
In 2022, Representative Deaton supported a different congressional map than the one that was passed. He says since then, political dynamics have shifted and momentum is building behind his proposal.
This is a better map, and it's a better map in a variety of ways. For example, it splits fewer cities and fewer counties than the current map does. I think it's great that this map actually does pair in some cases suburban, urban, rural. These are, some would say they aren't, but I think these are communities of interest in metropolitan statistical areas.
In opposition of the change, U.S. Congressman for Missouri's 5th District, Democrat Emanuel Cleaver, released a statement saying roughly 40% of Missourians cast their ballots for Democratic candidates last year, and they deserve representation in the people's house just as much as our Republican neighbors. Yet, in attempting to dismantle the 5th District, state lawmakers would be working to drown out Missouri voices in favor of a single man 1,000 miles away. Deaton has spoken to Cleaver regarding redistricting.
He shared with me his perspective, which I understand, and he's obviously been in Congress a long time, and I appreciate the service that he has rendered. And we're ultimately going to agree, and I think currently we probably don't.
If approved, the bill goes next to the state Senate. Reporting in Joplin, I'm Blake Gully with KOAM News.
If the bill passes the House and Senate, it will go to Governor Keogh's desk for final approval. And 2 people are facing federal charges after immigration officials and the FBI raided a home in St. Peters, Missouri earlier this week. Authorities say the suspects, including the manager of a local buffet, are accused of bringing in and harboring undocumented immigrants and providing housing and transportation. The buffet is now closed, and experts say the case highlights the rights of all employees, even as the legal process moves forward. The president escalated his threats against Chicago over the weekend with a social media post that the administration is now saying was taken out of context. This comes as immigration officials have also begun a crackdown in Boston. This morning, the administration is focusing on religious liberty in schools. Natalie Brand has more details from the White House.
President Trump is promising to push for religious liberty in public schools, appearing for the first time at the Museum of the Bible.
I'm pleased to announce this morning that the Department of Education will soon issue new guidance protecting the right to prayer in our public schools, and it's total protection.
The remarks come during the second meeting of the administration's Religious Liberty Commission.
I created the first ever Department of Justice task force to eradicate anti-Christian bias.
The war of words between President Trump and Illinois leaders also reached a new level this weekend after the president posted this on social media, saying Chicago is about to find out why it's called the Department of War.
Let's make it clear, the President of the United States essentially just declared war on a major city in his own nation. This is not normal.
We'd love to go into Chicago and straighten it out.
President Trump has since downplayed the post, telling reporters on Sunday that he just wants to clean up the city.
We're not going to war. We're going to clean up our cities. We're going to clean them up so they don't kill 5 people every weekend. That's not war. That's common sense.
While the president has threatened to send in the National Guard, he still hasn't given a timeline and said he could make a decision in the next day or 2.
Should we expect action in Chicago this week?
Absolutely. You can expect action in most sanctuary cities across the country.
This weekend, the Department of Homeland Security confirmed it's launched a new illegal immigration crackdown in Massachusetts. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Well, coming up, ever thought about living in a Cold War missile silo? Well, now you can for the right price. And later, we're making on-the-go breakfast pockets in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. Well, the Cold War era missile silo is up for sale in Kansas and could be yours, but it's going to cost you more than $1 million. Zach Summers takes a look at the unique property and its history.
Hidden beneath the rolling hills of central Kansas,
it's an insane property.
Is a property steeped in mystery.
It's very much off the grid.
And rich in Cold War history.
So this room is called the entrapment zone.
Once designed to fend off a nuclear attack, this decommissioned Atlas F missile silo is now for sale.
My favorite feature is probably either the missile silo itself. I also think that this is really cool, just going through a tunnel, and it almost seems like you're on a mission.
Tara Martin is the listing agent for the 8.5-acre property in Lincoln. The asking price, $1.3 million.
The equivalent to what they built it for in today's dollars is now $190 million.
Step inside the underground fortress and there's a noticeable drop in temperature.
It ranges from 54 to 62 degrees consistently.
Inside, 2,500 square feet of usable space in what was once a control room and living quarters, all of which have been freshly painted.
Over in this area, there was a kitchen, bedrooms, and everything was walled off.
Behind this 2-ton carbon steel door is the real showstopper of this property, an 18-story missile silo. Still left behind are the brackets that held up the flooring surrounding the missile.
40 feet up, 140 feet down. A dream for thrill seekers. a nightmare for anyone afraid of heights.
You could do a man cave, you could grow mushrooms, it could be a wine cellar. It's a very specific type of buyer, somebody that just has a lot of imagination.
And perhaps a liking to history.
This is actually one of the original doors.
Built in the early 1960s as a response to Soviet nuclear threats, the Atlas F was the most advanced in the U.S. Air Force's arsenal at the time. It stood vertically, armed with a warhead more than 250 times more powerful than the atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima.
Nominally, it was supposed to take about 15 minutes after a launch command was received for it to be ready to launch.
John Gilbert is a retired Air Force colonel who worked in a similar Kansas facility in the 60s.
It was isolated. It was noisy. Things tended to smell bad. It was not a real pleasant place.
The Lincoln site was one of 12 in Kansas alone, chosen for its inland location, yet close enough to reach targets in the Soviet Union.
And another reason, there was a lot of vacant land where people didn't live.
To buyers, Colonel Gilbert says,
they'll end up owning a unicorn.
A Cold War relic turned conversation piece with a future as bold as its past.
It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, in my opinion.
And still to come on KOAM News at noon, Mr. Food.
It's back to school week here in the Test Kitchen, so join us as we teach you how to make the grade.
And we've got shower and thunderstorm chances tonight. Could see some tomorrow and maybe even into Wednesday. And then the heat kicks in. A look at your forecast when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM News at noon on what's been a pretty decent day. We've got, again, that opportunity for some partly to mostly cloudy skies today, and we have our storm chances. Quick look from earlier this morning, downtown Pittsburgh. Things were looking pretty good as the sun was rising out there. Here's a look at the future track as we go through the next few hours. So 2 o'clock, you can see maybe a shower or two, but really the better chances are going to come after 4, around 4. We have a thunderstorm complex that earlier this morning was out around Salina, Concordia, Kansas, and around the I-70 corridor there. That's what this is, eventually making its way into southeast Kansas initially into the evening with some isolated to scattered showers and storms. Those will continue across the area, and we'll continue to have some opportunities for isolated scattered showers and storms out there as this pushes to the east and again a kind of a decaying state. We also could get some additional redevelopment of some isolated storms to scattered across southeastern Kansas after midnight, and the energy from that, as you can see toward tomorrow at 5 a.m. will start to give us opportunities for some isolated to widely scattered showers and storms across the area as we roll into Tuesday. And they could hang around through about 2, maybe 3 o'clock Tuesday afternoon. And then they're out of here and we're done with that activity. And then we go into our Wednesday. That's when we'll start to see clouds increasing by mid-morning, and by late morning, say 10, 11 o'clock, we start to get additional isolated storm development. Now you can see they've got a zone out here, but the better chances are really the 69 to I-49 corridor. Within these areas right here in the Kansas and Missouri, we'll have these isolated storm chances. Could some be outside of that? Yes, but this is where the slightly better chance is going to be. And after a pause, we could get a few late evening showers or storms out there as well, but still nothing strong, nothing severe with any of the activity over the next few days, at least not at this point. So again, a mix of partly to mostly cloudy skies as we head into the afternoon today. Going upper 70s, low 80s with a south breeze at around 5 to 10 miles an hour. Mostly cloudy skies overnight, or even in some cases, again, partly cloudy. A little bit on the cool side, upper 50s, low 60s, south winds 5 to 10. And again, at least for some of us, an opportunity for some isolated to widely scattered showers and storms. And as we showed you on Future Track, that will continue tomorrow. So partly cloudy, maybe even that, again, a mix of partly to mostly cloudy skies tomorrow. A few more low 80s on the map with those isolated storm chances. And we continue with that south breeze at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. Now, you may remember last week on the extended forecast, we talked about how the second half of this week, we were going to start to heat up. Of all the things on the forecast, that's been the one thing that's been consistent, and it still is as we roll into the second half of this week. So we go upper 80s Wednesday, but take a look. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, maybe even into Sunday, we have upper 80s and low 90s out there. So remember, our average high is 85. So we're going to start climbing above that. We do drop a little bit, though, as we head into next week. Maybe a few isolated showers and storms on Monday, and we'll have temperatures back in the mid to upper 80s next week as well. So just keep the umbrella handy the next couple of days, and also make sure you're ready for some of that summer heat to make an unwanted return as we head into the upcoming weekend. Elise?
Well, stick around. We're making on-the-go breakfast pockets in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. We'll be right back.
KOAM Plus, streaming 24/7. And starting September 8th, watch at 3 p.m. on KOAM TV. Your news, your schedule. Stay informed, your way. Stay ahead with KOAM Plus.
As part of the Heartland.
Well, there's no excuse to skip breakfast anymore with today's Mr. Food recipe. Howard's making on-the-go breakfast pockets in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
It's back to school week here in the Test Kitchen. According to the American Dietetic Association, students who eat breakfast have better memory, improved problem-solving skills, and are more creative. So I thought we should start the week with a tasty breakfast that's easy to make and easy to take. So there's no excuse to skip breakfast, whether you're going to school or not. We begin by scrambling a few eggs along with a bit of water and some salt and pepper. Once it sets up, we take it off the heat. While that cools, we unroll a can of refrigerated crescent roll dough and separate into 4 rectangles, making sure to pinch the diagonal seams together. A slice of ham goes on top, and we spoon the scrambled eggs over that. Then we sprinkle on a little cheese and fold the dough over the filling, pinching the edges. We can either bake these now or wrap them and pop them in the freezer. That way they're ready when we are. When these come out of the oven with their buttery flaky crust and the cheesy hot filling, breakfast is ready. And for those of you who need to eat on the run, you'll love how portable these are. To get the recipe for what we call on-the-go breakfast pockets, simply visit our website. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found an A+ way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
You can find this recipe along with a lot more good food from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen online. Just go to our website. That's KOAMnewsnow.com. Now let's take a look at the 4-state market prices.
All right, again, that opportunity for some isolated showers and storms late today into tomorrow, and then again, very isolated, but still there for Wednesday. Temperatures low 80s today and tomorrow, upper 80s on Wednesday, and then the summer heat makes a return as we head into the weekend as we climb back into the upper 80s and even some low 90s.
Well, after a really nice weekend that we had, it looks like the 90s return.
Yeah, so. But it'll be tolerable. You
right.
know, sometimes this time of year we're in the upper 90s. At least we'll get through this.
Absolutely. Sounds like it. All right. Dowdy uppers later on.
Well, lots coming up at 5. For starters, children with high blood pressure could face a higher risk of deadly cardiovascular disease decades later. We're going to have a lot more on that. Plus, a Neodesha Church helps a community member with a kidney donation. And mental health advocates in Pittsburgh mark Suicide Awareness Month with a message of hope. Hope you join us for those stories. A lot more, of course. It's coming up today. KOAM News at 5.
Certainly lots to look forward to, Dell. Thanks so much. And that's the news for now. Thank you for joining us on KOAM News at noon. Have a great rest of your day.